Hey everyone! Welcome back to the Hania English Podcast, the place where we break down the myths, crush the fears, and help you unlock your true English speaking potential. I'm your host, Hania, and today we've got an episode that's going to shake up everything you thought you knew about speaking English.
That's right, Hania. Today's episode is all about discovering the real reason you can't speak English. If you've ever blamed your tongue, your accent, or even your grammar for not being fluent, think again.
Yes, because the truth is far more surprising than you might expect. So, whether you're preparing for that next English conversation, an interview, or just tired of feeling stuck, this episode is a must-watch, or rather, must-listen session.
Stick around until the end, because not only will we reveal what's really holding you back, but we're also going to arm you with powerful, practical strategies to overcome it and boost your confidence.
All right. Let's dive in and uncover the truth behind why you're struggling to speak English. Let's start by addressing a common misconception. Many English learners believe that the problem lies with their tongue, that maybe it's too clumsy or that their accent is unchangeable. But guess what? Your tongue isn't the problem at all.
Exactly. For most learners, the real challenge isn't a physical one, it's psychological. Most of you have been taught to overthink every single word, worrying about grammar, pronunciation, and the fear of making mistakes. And that mental block? That's what really stops you from speaking fluently.
Think about it. How many times have you rehearsed a sentence in your head, only to freeze up when the conversation starts? It's like there's this invisible wall that stops you from expressing your thoughts. You might have even felt embarrassed or anxious in front of others, which makes it even harder to speak.
Absolutely. This overthinking creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you worry about being perfect, the less you speak. And the less you speak, the more you reinforce that belief that you're not good enough. It becomes a vicious cycle.
Let's be honest. When you're worried about making a mistake, you're essentially saying, I'm not ready yet. I need to be perfect before I start. But the truth is, nobody ever becomes perfect overnight. Most of us never do.
Exactly, Hania. And here's another point. The environment around you often contributes to this problem. We live in a society where perfection is highly valued. Social media, schools, even casual conversations often make us hyper-aware of our mistakes. This constant pressure can be paralyzing.
Imagine a scenario. You're at a party, and someone asks you to share your thoughts on a recent movie. Instead of jumping in and sharing your opinion, you sit there, worried that your accent might be funny, or that your words won't come out right. That hesitation isn't about your physical ability to speak. It's about the mental barrier you've built.
Right. And it's not just at parties. This anxiety can seep into academic settings, job interviews, even casual chats with friends. The constant self-criticism and fear of being judged can make even the simplest conversation feel like a high-stakes performance.
So, to summarize, the problem isn't your tongue, your accent, or even your vocabulary. The real issue is the fear of imperfection and the overthinking that holds you back from speaking confidently. And this mindset isn't just stopping you from talking. It's stopping you from truly connecting with others and making progress in your language journey.
And believe it or not, this struggle isn't unique to English learners. People all over the world experience similar challenges when trying to learn a new language. It's a universal hurdle, and today, we're going to tackle it head-on.
All right, now that we've identified the problem, let's talk about the solution. The shocking truth is that fluency isn't about having a perfect accent or knowing every grammar rule by heart. It's about building confidence through action.
Yes. The secret to speaking English fluently is not to aim for perfection, but to focus on effective communication. It's about shifting your mindset from, I have to be perfect, to I have to communicate, no matter what.
Imagine how children learn to speak their native language. They're not sitting in classrooms worrying about grammar. They're just babbling, experimenting, and communicating. They make mistakes all the time, and that's how they learn. We can take a leaf out of their book.
The key idea is, speak more, think less. Instead of overanalyzing every sentence before you speak, let the words flow naturally. Embrace the fact that mistakes are part of the learning process. Every time you speak, you're taking a step toward fluency.
Exactly. And here's something important to remember. Confidence comes from practice. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become. It's a gradual process. So let go of the need to be perfect and just start talking.
That's right, Hania. And it's not just about speaking in perfect sentences. It's about communication. When you focus on getting your message across, the fear of making mistakes diminishes. It's the practice, the risk-taking, and the willingness to be imperfect that ultimately lead to success.
So, to break it down, the real reason you can't speak English isn't because of a physical or linguistic limitation. It's because of the mental barriers that hold you back. The solution? Change your mindset, embrace imperfection, and practice speaking without overthinking.
Now that we've established this mindset shift, let's move on to some practical strategies and tips that you can start applying right away. These actionable steps will help you overcome that mental block and unlock your true English speaking potential.
All right, listeners, it's time for some real talk. Here are 8 actionable tips to help you stop overthinking and start speaking English with confidence.
The tip number 1, embrace your mistakes. First and foremost, understand that mistakes are not failures, they're learning opportunities. Every time you mess up, you learn something new. So, celebrate your mistakes as stepping stones to fluency. When you see an error, say, "That's okay, I'll learn from this and do better next time."
Absolutely. Remember, even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The goal is to communicate, not to achieve perfection.
Tip number 2, practice speaking daily. Next, make speaking a daily habit. Whether it's with a friend, a language partner, or even talking to yourself in the mirror, set aside time every day to practice. Consistency is key.
Try to dedicate at least 10-15 minutes a day to speak out loud in English. The more you practice, the faster you'll build confidence and fluency.
Tip number 3, use the shadowing technique. Another powerful technique is shadowing. This means you listen to a native speaker. It could be a podcast, a movie, or an online video, and then try to mimic their pronunciation and intonation. This technique not only improves your speaking skills, but also helps you pick up natural speech patterns.
Find a short clip, hit play, and repeat after the speaker. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on matching the rhythm and flow. Over time, this will greatly improve your accent and fluency.
Tip number 4, engage in real conversations. Tip number 4 is to engage in real conversations. Join language exchange groups, participate in online forums, or find a conversation buddy who is also learning English. The goal is to create an environment where you're constantly speaking and listening.
By interacting with real people, you not only practice your speaking skills but also get immediate feedback. This helps you adjust and improve your communication in a natural setting.
Tip number 5, record yourself and listen back. Tip 5 is all about self-feedback. Record yourself speaking and then listen back to identify areas for improvement. It might feel awkward at first, but this is a great way to catch mistakes and notice your progress over time.
Don't be too hard on yourself when you listen back. Instead, focus on what you did well and plan on how to enhance your pronunciation or intonation for next time.
Tip number 6, think in English. Tip 6 is a game changer. Start thinking in English. Instead of translating every word in your head from your native language, try to immerse yourself in English. Label objects around you or describe your actions in English as you go about your day.
This habit helps your brain become more fluent in English, making it easier to form sentences and express your thoughts naturally during conversations.
Tip number 7, use simple sentences. Tip 7 is to keep it simple. You don't need to use complex vocabulary or intricate sentence structures to be understood. Often, simple and clear language is more effective for communication.
Start with short, straightforward sentences. As you gain confidence, you can gradually add more detail. But remember, clarity always trumps complexity.
Tip number 8, set a daily speaking challenge. And finally, tip 8 is to set a daily speaking challenge. Challenge yourself to speak on a random topic for 30 seconds or more without pausing. It could be anything, from describing your day to explaining your favorite hobby.
This challenge not only boosts your confidence, but also trains you to think on your feet. Over time, you'll notice that the pauses and hesitations start to disappear, and your speech flows more naturally.
These strategies are designed to be simple yet effective. Implement them consistently, and you'll begin to see a marked improvement in your ability to speak English fluently. Remember, practice, persistence, and the willingness to embrace imperfection are your best tools on this journey.
Now it's time for an interactive challenge for all of you listening at home. We're challenging you to step out of your comfort zone and put your newfound skills to the test.
That's right. Here's your challenge. Speak for 10 minutes straight without stopping on any one of these topics. Choose the one that excites you the most.
Here are your options. Describe your favorite holiday memory. Talk about the last movie you watched and why you liked it. Describe your dream vacation destination and what you'd do there.
We want you to record yourself or even just speak out loud, and then share your experience with us in the comments. Don't worry about being perfect. This is all about getting comfortable with speaking.
I'll go first to show you how it's done. Pauses briefly. My favorite holiday memory has to be when my family and I visited the mountains last winter. The crisp air, the sound of the snow crunching under our boots, and the warmth of the cabin. It was a magical experience that I'll never forget. See? It doesn't have to be perfect, just genuine and flowing.
That was fantastic, Hania. Now it's your turn, dear listeners. Grab a topic, set your timer for 30 seconds, and start speaking. We can't wait to hear your stories.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about the mindset shift that's absolutely essential to overcoming your fear of speaking English. The journey to fluency is as much about psychology as it is about language skills.
Remember, confidence comes from action, not from waiting until you feel 100% ready. Every time you speak, you're taking a risk, and that risk is a step toward mastery.
Here are some key mindset shifts to keep in mind. Confidence is built through action. Every conversation, no matter how imperfect, builds your confidence. Perfection is not the goal. Communication is what matters. Mistakes are simply proof that you're trying and learning. Embrace discomfort. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Stop comparing yourself to others. Your journey is unique, and progress comes at your own pace. Mistakes are learning opportunities. Every error is a lesson that brings you one step closer to fluency.
Think of speaking English as a muscle that needs to be exercised regularly. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like any muscle, it might feel a bit sore at first. But soon enough, you'll see the improvements.
So don't let fear hold you back. Each conversation is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become a more confident speaker. Embrace every mistake as a badge of honor on your journey to fluency.
We know it can be intimidating to put yourself out there, but remember, every great speaker started right where you are now. The key is to take that first step, no matter how small, and keep moving forward.
All right, everyone, let's recap what we've learned today. The real reason you can't speak English isn't your tongue or your accent. It's the mental barriers, the overthinking, and the fear of making mistakes that hold you back.
We've discussed how shifting your mindset from perfection to action can open the door to true fluency. With actionable tips like embracing mistakes, practicing daily, using techniques like shadowing, and even setting daily speaking challenges, you have a roadmap to overcome these obstacles.
Remember, the journey to speaking English confidently is built on the simple principle of speak more, think less. Embrace every mistake, take every opportunity to speak, and most importantly, enjoy the process of learning.
We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let us know. What's the biggest challenge you face when speaking English? And did you try out our 30-second challenge? Share your experiences with us. We're here to support each other.
If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Your feedback and support mean the world to us and help us continue bringing you the best content on your English journey.
Before we sign off, here's a final thought. Every conversation is a chance to improve. So stop overthinking, start talking, and let your voice be heard. Remember, confidence is built one word at a time.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Hania English Podcast. We believe in you, and we know that with a bit of practice and a whole lot of courage, you can achieve fluency and connect with the world in English.
That's it for today's episode. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and we'll see you in the next episode. And always remember, stop thinking, start talking.
Until next time, happy speaking and keep shining.